What if I told you a shoemaker's son with no professional playing career changed football forever? Arrigo Sacchi didn't just introduce tactics, he redefined how the sport was played. In a world where individual brilliance often stole the spotlight, Sacchi introduced a revolutionary idea. Football is not about individuals, it's about the collective. His high-pressing, zonal marking system didn't just win trophies, it reshaped the very fabric of modern football. But how did a man who never played at the highest level command the respect of legends and create a legacy that still defines the sport today? This is the story of Arrigo Sacchi, the man who transformed football with one groundbreaking tactical move. The one move that transformed football. Arrigo Sacchi's defining contribution to football wasn't a single formation or tactic. It was a shift in mindset. His high-pressing, zonal marking system was revolutionary in the 1980s, an era dominated by defensive catenaccio in Italy. Before Sacchi, Italian football was built around defending. The catenaccio system, a defensive structure designed to block opposition attacks with a deep-lying defense, was the standard. Individual brilliance could often override tactical coherence, but Sacchi saw things differently. He believed that football was a team sport, and every player had to contribute to both attack and defense. His system relied on players working in unison, pressing high up the pitch to win the ball back quickly. It wasn't just about defending, it was about controlling the game. Zonal marking replaced traditional man marking, giving his teams the ability to stay compact and fluid, adapting to the opponent's movements. Every player knew their responsibility on the field, allowing for tight organization and efficient transitions into attack. Sacchi's shift wasn't just tactical, it was philosophical. He proved that a well-organized team could outperform even the most individually talented opponents. His ideas inspired modern managers like Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, and Carlo Ancelotti, whose team still reflects Sacchi's principles today. This single shift in thinking laid the foundation for modern football, where pressing, zonal marking, and tactical unity are now commonplace at the highest level. Humble beginnings, the unlikely coach. Arrigo Sacchi's journey to football greatness started far from the grandeur of Europe's biggest stadiums. Born on April 1st, 1946 in Fusignano, Italy, Sacchi grew up working in his father's shoemaking business. His early life wasn't defined by football, but the sport became his true passion. Unlike most legendary coaches, Sacchi never played professional football. His playing career was modest at best. He was an amateur with no significant experience at the top levels of the game. This lack of playing pedigree made him a subject of ridicule in the football community. Critics mocked him relentlessly, asking, "What can a man who never played football at the highest level teach us?" But Sacchi's response was iconic. "You don't have to be a horse to become a jockey." Determined to prove his doubters wrong, Sacchi studied football obsessively. He idolized Rinus Michels and Johan Cruyff, pioneers of total football, and began coaching local teams while selling shoes on the side. His tactical experiments in these lower leagues hinted at his future greatness. Even then, he prioritized pressing, positional play, and teamwork over individual brilliance. Sacchi's big break came when he led Parma to a stunning victory over AC Milan in the 1987 Coppa Italia. That win caught the attention of Milan's owner, Silvio Berlusconi, who took a gamble by appointing Sacchi as manager in 1987. The AC Milan revolution. When Sacchi arrived at AC Milan, the skepticism was deafening. How could a coach with no playing pedigree lead one of Italy's biggest clubs? But Sacchi silenced his critics almost immediately. At Milan, Sacchi implemented his vision with unmatched precision. He built his team around discipline, unity, and his innovative tactical approach. Players like Franco Baresi, Paolo Maldini, Marco van Basten, and Ruud Gullit became the pillars of his system, thriving under his guidance. Sacchi's Milan played with a high defensive line, pressing relentlessly to suffocate opponents. Every player understood their role, moving as one fluid unit. Zonal marking replaced man marking, and counterattacks were lightning fast. Picture this. In the 1989 European Cup final, Milan faced Steaua Bucharest, a team that had previously dominated Europe. But Milan's high-pressing, zonal marking system overwhelmed them. With relentless energy and tactical precision, Sacchi's Milan dismantled Steaua 4-0. It was one of the most dominant performances in football history, and it wasn't just the scoreline that stood out. It was the seamless execution of Sacchi's vision on the pitch. The following year, Milan defended their European title, defeating Benfica 1-0 in the final. These back-to-back European triumphs cemented Milan's status as one of the greatest teams ever assembled. Sacchi's Milan didn't just win, they redefined how football could be played. The philosophy behind the revolution. At the heart of Sacchi's success was his unwavering belief in total football. For him, football was an art form, a symphony where every player was an instrument contributing to the harmony. Sacchi's teams pressed high, controlled possession, and dictated the tempo of the game. He rejected the reactive, defensive mentality of Italian catenaccio, choosing instead to dominate opponents through proactive play. In Sacchi's world, the game was about collective movement. Each player had to know their position and execute their role to perfection. Sacchi often conducted training sessions without the ball to emphasize spatial awareness and movement off the ball. His players were constantly drilled in where to be and when to be there, sometimes without even touching the ball. His attention to detail was legendary, and it paid off with a team that functioned as a well-oiled machine. One of Sacchi's most famous quotes encapsulates his philosophy: "Tactics are nothing without spirit." He believed that passion, unity, and mental strength were as important as technical ability. This mindset turned his players into a cohesive unit capable of executing his complex strategies flawlessly. Sacchi's challenges and legacy. While Arrigo Sacchi's innovations earned him global acclaim, they weren't without controversy. His methods were notoriously intense, demanding absolute discipline and complete adherence to his system. This sometimes led to clashes with star players who felt stifled by the lack of individual freedom. Sacchi's emphasis on the collective often left little room for improvisation or personal expression on the pitch. Critics labeled his approach as overly rigid, arguing that it was unsustainable in the long term due to the relentless physical and mental effort it required from his players. Yet despite the criticism, Sacchi's impact on football is undeniable. His ideas revolutionized the sport, shifting the focus from defensive individualism to offensive collectivism. Managers like Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, and Carlo Ancelotti have openly credited Sacchi as a major influence on their own tactical philosophies. Guardiola's tiki-taka, Klopp's gegenpressing, and countless other modern systems are built on principles first popularized by Sacchi: high pressing, zonal marking, and controlling the tempo of the game. Sacchi also highlighted the often overlooked psychological aspect of football. He believed that the mental strength of a team could be the deciding factor between success and failure. Sacchi invested significant time in building team morale, instilling confidence, and ensuring his players were fully aligned with his vision. The result? A Milan side that, while unyielding in its tactical discipline, also had an unwavering belief in itself, a belief that carried them to greatness. Life beyond the touchline. After his triumphs with Milan, Arrigo Sacchi took charge of the Italian national team in 1991, seeking to bring his innovative tactical philosophy to the international stage. Under his leadership, Italy reached the 1994 World Cup final in the United States, a remarkable achievement that showcased the depth of Sacchi's tactical vision. The Azzurri played with an intensity and discipline that became synonymous with Sacchi's style, characterized by their high pressing and commitment to team cohesion. Although Italy's run ended in heartbreak with a penalty shootout loss to Brazil, Sacchi's tactical brilliance was evident throughout the tournament. Italy had not only exceeded expectations, but also provided the football world with a glimpse of the future. A future where tactical sophistication and team unity were prioritized over individual flair. Despite the crushing defeat, Sacchi's legacy continued to grow. After his time with the national team, Sacchi transitioned into a role of mentorship and punditry. He became a sought-after voice in the world of football, offering his insights into the game's evolution and sharing his experiences with the next generation of coaches. Sacchi also took to writing extensively, authoring books that explored football tactics, leadership, and the importance of a collective approach to the game. His work influenced coaches at all levels, from youth academies to elite clubs, and further solidified his status as one of the most important tactical minds in football history. Even after stepping away from the touchline, Sacchi's contributions continued to shape the sport, ensuring his influence would be felt for generations to come. The legacy of a genius. Arrigo Sacchi's story is a reminder that true greatness comes from vision, determination, and a willingness to challenge the status quo. He proved that football is more than individual brilliance. It's a collective effort, a game of strategy, unity, and mental strength. Sacchi's ideas didn't just win trophies, they transformed the sport. His innovations reshaped the way we view football and continue to influence how the game is played today. He remains one of the most impactful figures in the history of the sport. So what do you think? Was Arrigo Sacchi the greatest tactical mind in football history? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more deep dives into football's most iconic figures. Thanks for watching.